Welcome back, NAO Week 7. The Redcoats are coming. The Redcoats are coming. Yes, that is a shot at frickin' Steely. I'm coming after you right off the bat. Hello, my boys. I got Mike Deasy. I got Marky Mark. How are you guys doing?
Doing good.
Doing good. Yeah.
Doing good. We're doing fucking fantastic. Let's go. Come on. Week 7, halfway there. I know I'm yelling. I'm sorry, Mikey Deasy.
Why are you yelling?
Because I'm a very hyper individual. Mark, kick us off. Go ahead.
Yeah, man, let's run down the scores here real quick. I'm going to start off with one of the higher scoring matches we had. Skippy Dogs, 136. The Underdogs, 126. So the Dogs beat the Dogs.
The Dogs beat the Dogs.
Dogs beat the Dogs. And, yeah, Skippy riding that 40 burger by Henry. And Lamar Jackson finally had a decent game there for 28 points. Underdogs, man, it was a tough loss for them because they were the third highest scorer, but they just happened to play the second highest scorer of the week. And I know I saw that they had Adams, who only put up 9 points. So I know that was disappointing. If he'd have done his normal thing, they might have done a little better. Moving on, gonna go to the story of the week, and that is Goofy Jace got his first loss at the hands of Frank's Beauties. This was an ugly one, but you know, I think Mike will take it. Yeah. First loss for Goofy. He was without Wilson and Kamara, so he was playing a little bit hamstrung. But what can you tell us about that one, Mike?
That one, I'm just thankful for a win. There was nothing pretty about anything going on.
Nothing to brag about there, huh?
I thought for sure when Aaron Rodgers started that was it for me because I had a projected win for most of the day, and then when Aaron Rodgers went in, I thought this is it. And for some reason, only 3.8 points. But I'll take it.
I got 2 points on that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
First, Steely, you suck. Defense. I picked Tampa Bay defense because they had the best front seven going into the season, and they showed it. Aaron Rodgers, who? I don't know. Who is that guy?
Yeah,
and two, my dog, Goofy. If you need any help with your fantasy team, just call me. I told you last week. I know you listen to the show. Thanks for listening to the show. Matt Ryan. Did he have a good week? I don't remember. Did he have a good week?
Yeah.
Yes.
He had a pretty decent week.
Yes, he did.
Even if he started Roethlisberger, he would have beat me.
Yeah. I told him at work we're going against each other this week, so we're not talking to each other. We're trying to avoid each other this week. But via email, I said, in case you didn't realize, don't listen to what I tell you on fantasy advice. But I still think most people would have started Rodgers there with the way Ryan had been playing. So you got that one, Sean. We'll give it to you. Moving on, my matchup with the Real Slim Brady. Bob O'Reilly's 123 to 110 over Real Slim Brady. Get right game for me. I'd lost 2 in a row, so it's good to get back in the win column. I think we'll talk about the trade later, but I was looking at if he had not traded away Tannehill and had him in his lineup, he would have beat me by a few points. So he went all in on Dalton and is probably regretting it now. I'm thankful he did. It was bittersweet seeing Dalton do so bad for my Cowboys. So
I was also all in on Dalton until about the first quarter.
Yeah. Well, we were too. Yeah, we talked about it, Mike, and we thought he might be okay, but we got that patchwork line, and we lost our last good guy in there. So it's not looking good for us. He's gonna have to get rid of that ball quickly.
Well, hot take. If your players are playing against Dallas, you should definitely play them. Hot take.
Oh, yeah.
I'll know.
Wow, week 7, and he finally gets on board. They've been saying that since week 2, but that's okay, Sean. It's okay.
Oh, okay.
At least you're on the right side of the ledger now. All right, so the next score we got is the Carsonists. He had the highest score. Our boy Sean beat defenses
like
win
you've been here
championships.
before, Sean.
Yeah. Biggest blowout. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yeah, biggest blowout, 151 to 91. Before I turn it over to you, Sean, ironically, defenses win championships. His highest scorer was his defense. which was the Pittsburgh Steelers at 18 points. So if your defense is your highest scorer, you're probably not going to win that week. So what do you think there, Sean? Looks like you were coming up roses there. Everything
Well, two things yet again. He had a high defense, but my defense had higher. But what really helped me was the fact that I got super lucky with all his injuries. I don't think I could have taken down Abe while defense wins championships if his team comes out and smashes like normally does. I will 100% agree that I got super lucky this week, and I will take every point, every win.
Yeah, you hit on everybody. He lost Mostert. He had Drake on his bench, which I don't blame him for. And so, yeah, just a tough week for him, man. We all had those kind of weeks for sure.
I just want to point out that you had a pretty good bye-week running back fill-in in Frank Gore.
Frank Gore?
Which is exactly what I said when we drafted. It's all I wanted from him was a bye-week fill-in, and here he is, 9 points.
9 points. No one even thought he was going to make my starting lineup, but you got to do what you got to do, and you hope for the best, right?
Yeah.
Frank Gore, 9 points.
He didn't goose, so it was successful enough.
So,
well, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Random question for you. If the Bills game and the Kansas City game was a downslide because of the weather, what is Devin Singletary's problem right now? My boy CEH put up freaking 161 yards. What is up, Devin Singletary?
Well, he's not CEH for number one. He, I don't know. I think Kansas City, with the weather, they just decided they were going to stop the run and make him try to pass it, and kind of simple as that, you know. And Singletary's, he's good, but he's not great. So
Zach Moss was finally active for the first time since like week 1.
Final showing.
Not that that took a lot of points away from him, but
Zach Moss was in there when they were inside the 10-yard line. So that kind of tells you about Singletary, man. He's probably not going to get those carries unless Moss is out. So.
And the rumors are they went after Le'Veon Bell pretty hard. So they clearly don't like Singletary.
Yeah. At least a hard one to rely on to be a workhorse. So. All right, let's give the last score here. Down at the bottom, we've got Steele, Tua time. I told him he's got to name his team Tua time because it's easier to say. 101-80 over the Silly Biscuits. Whew, man, that was an ugly one. That was an ugly one. And Jay Hill had to endure not one but 2 goose eggs on his roster. And man, you got to feel bad for the guy. He had Gesicki in there. And Sean, you remember all the bitching I was doing about Gesicki, who was in my redraft lineup. Fortunately, I won and overcame that goose egg. But you know, Shaheen with the second touchdown in 2 games, and Durham Smythe. Does anybody know who Durham Smythe is? Got a touchdown, and I think Shaheen was the leading receiver for the day. Just ugly, man. And then he had Hardman in there, and I don't blame him for starting Hardman with Watkins out, but 1 target, rainy day, just not a great day to try to start Hardman. So
I think the biggest shock in his lineup wasn't the 2 goose eggs, but the fact that Kupp, he got 9 targets and still only had 2.6 points.
Yeah, 3 catches, 11 yards.
Kupp,
come on, Kupp.
He had a bad game. Did you see the game?
No, I did not.
Yeah, he had some drops that looked like he might have lost one in the lights. It was a long one. Maybe he could have scored a touchdown if he could have caught it on the run. So yeah, one of those. It's a game of inches, and he was inches away from a lot better day. Yeah, that was a bad day for Kupp, and that's not like him, you know. It's just not like him. So, but that brings us to the Mr. Miyagi ass waxing of the week, going to Jay Hill with the Silly Biscuits.
Dun, 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 dun.
He is now a 3-time winner of this award, this dubious award. And he was nice enough again to fax over a little statement. Let me read what it says here. It says, whatever, man. So that sums up how our buddy Josh is feeling right now. So, so yeah, he's a 3-time winner, and we got Dilly is a 2-time winner. Our buddy Sean here's got 1 there, so he's Josh is out to the lead with that. So, Mike, why don't you give us a rundown on the standings now?
It's almost identical as last week. Goofy's still at the top. Actually, the only difference in our 4 playoff spots is, Mark, you're up here now.
Woohoo.
You swapped with defenses win championships.
You're welcome.
Who slid to 6th, and Sean, you slid up to 5. We still got a pretty good log jam at 4-2, 3-3 though.
Yeah.
Yes, we do.
I noticed that Skippy made 2 wins in a row,
Mm-hmm.
so he's kind of right there, ready to make a jump if he can get another win.
Which is impressive since he has the highest points scored against.
Yeah,
789. Yeah.
Sneaky good down there. What is he, 7th place, I think?
Mm-hmm. Yep. I think I have him next week. So.
Yep.
Well, if you play Skippy, you're going to do real well, I guess.
Yeah, apparently. Yeah. We have not a lot of movement at the bottom either. That's up just about the same. We really didn't have too much movement going on this week.
With the bottom 4, who do you think has the best chances of coming out and getting the first draft pick right now?
Oh, we're talking draft. I thought you were going to say who's got a chance to move up. You're talking about the draft pick.
Yeah, you turn that around.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to. It's kind of early to talk about that. So I think anyway. What do you think, Sean?
Well, I think it's going to be really interesting with. I love how this league is set up with the bottom 4. They actually get something to play for.
Yeah,
they actually get to play for the number 1 pick, which is obviously beneficial. So, I mean, even though if you're 7 and below, I mean, you still have something definitely to play for. So, no giving up in this league.
Underdogs have had a couple good showings, a couple tough losses there, So
I actually, when Sean was asking the question, my initial answer was going to be the underdogs are going to be the one that might make a move because they could easily have 3 wins right now. They could be 3-3.
Yeah.
They've lost the last 2 games by like a combined, 12 points. How
bad was it to lose to they're Tennessee fans and they got to watch Henry go off against them this week, So I'm sure they were happy for the overtime win, but not so happy for the loss in fantasy.
I don't know what's worse, watching Henry go off or just hoping that A.J. Brown gets 1 freaking catch and losing by 1 catch.
1 more.
Yeah, right. Oh,
Too soon.
Yeah. Still, the wound is still open. Well, let's move on to some trade talk, guys. You guys had a nice one here. I'm just going to run down the moving parts and let you guys talk it over. Sean traded Mike Thomas to Mike for Mike Thomas and Teddy Bridgewater. I'm sorry. Let me get my mouth straight here. And he received Stephon Diggs, Darius Slayton, Brian Edwards, and 2 third-round picks. One that was Josh Hills, and the other that was the underdogs. So talk it out, guys. Let us know what you had going through your mind during this thing.
So when I picked Michael Thomas up in the 4th pick, 104 in our veteran draft, I knew that I had a time clock on him per se. Not only if I had a time clock on him, but I have a time clock on Drew Brees also. And Jameis Winston, we all know I know for darn sure that he'll go out there and he'll sling the ball 60 yards 40 times if you let him. But he'll also throw 6 interceptions with it too. So with my team doing how they were doing, kind of be right in that B- range. They're right there. My couple losses have been pretty – I just need a couple more pieces. So I thought if I moved Michael Thomas now, I could fill a couple spots, which is really where that was my mindset. Let's shore up a couple spots and maybe get a couple picks. And when I threw it out there on the chat, I got a couple offers, but me and Mike DZ were actually video chatting when I threw it out there, and 6 hours later, we have the Michael Thomas trade.
0 work done.
I'm not even exaggerating.
0 work that day.
Wow.
I got paid to move players.
At least your priority is in the right place,
Yeah.
guys.
Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, we talked about it a lot. I think you've mentioned a few times, not just in chat in the league chat, but also when we talk, that you didn't seem too terribly high on Michael Thomas this year, which I get being frustrated with him with the injury, and he hasn't really played yet. But yeah, when you kind of brought it up again, I thought, and from my side of it, it was if Michael Thomas is out there for real, I'm gonna try to go get him. I felt like I was, I'm bouncing around third, fourth, sometimes up to second, in the league. And if I'm a Michael Thomas away from really contending this year, then I got to go out and try to get that. The only tough part was giving up Diggs because he's been super consistent and kind of a steal in the fourth. But, I kind of risked that a little bit for someone like Michael Thomas. I'm not as terribly concerned next year for Michael Thomas as you seem to be. I feel like the Saints are a well put together, well coached team. Whoever they bring in, they're going to have Michael Thomas. I think that'll be. I mean, look at Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins this year. I wouldn't be terribly surprised if something like that happens with a new quarterback. But really, for me, it was if Michael Thomas is out there, I'm going to go try to get him. And
I like it for both you guys. And, Thomas is at the age apex right now, which is 27 on a receiver. And so he's got his best years ahead of him. I agree with you. I think he'll be all right with whoever he's got in there.
Mm-hmm.
And so this one I like for both you guys though, because you've got Thomas, who is a potential stud to go along with Mahomes and Zeke. Those are three guys that if you got those guys down the stretch, you can do some things. Bridgewater's not a bad guy to have.
The Bridgewater, he got talked completely over. He was
well.
He's not for me. I didn't have a great backup quarterback behind Mahomes really. I have Jimmy Garoppolo who's injured and he looked better last week, but Bridgewater was just sort of a depth thing for me that I needed.
Yeah, and it's not a bad depth piece. He's been playing okay. He's probably just a 1 or 2 year rental until they get their guy in there.
Yeah.
But for this year, moving forward, probably not a bad guy to have in a pinch. I like it for Sean because he got some depth, some good young receivers. Diggs already a guy he can plug right in. Slayton is a guy he can flex in now and then, depending on matchup. Edwards could be leading in targets after a year or two there. He's got a great upside to him. And those two picks right now, if you look at standings, these guys are 8 and 10. So you're looking at the early third round picks there. So good trade pieces or good picks if you want to keep them. So I think it's one of those where I don't really see a clear cut winner. I think you both got things that you needed and didn't hurt you or at all either way, and it's going to help you in certain areas. So
I think the best way to put it is that this trade actually benefited both of our teams significantly. When Michael Thomas comes back, Mike Deasy's team's going to be, if he smashes like we all think he's going to, even I do. That's why I held on to him for as long as I did. We're both going to be better teams going forward, which is funny because how do you lose Michael Thomas and get better? Well, before I even made the trade, I was looking at our rookie draft, and people at the spots I might be trading at, Claypool's there, Ruggs is there. You know what I mean? Like those are big names in the third round. Obviously, it's all a toss-up with those picks on if I make out or not. But I think, like you said, I did fill a couple holes with Slayton because the people in my flex positions were Jarvis Landry and Edelman. So they're like this every week. So I think Slayton's more of a set it and forget it and hope for the best for my third spot.
Yeah. No, it's a good trade. It was a fun one to have one of the top players in the league go be put up on chat and actually go through with the trade. So we see them go up all the time in chat, but they don't always end up being traded. So the other trade we got to talk about was between Silly Dilly and the Underdogs. This one had Dylan receiving Curtis Samuel, J.J. Taylor, and McJammer's second round. That McJammer guy, I like him. The underdogs received Ryan Tannehill and Dylan's third rounder. So give me your thoughts, Mike.
Well, this is another one that I got beat on. I was in the market for sending actually Teddy Bridgewater. As soon as I got him, I tried to trade him for to the underdogs because obviously he was starting Dak, and everyone probably looked at their lineup to see if they had a quarterback to move over to them for some trade pieces.
I think not. Maybe Fitzmagic, you know.
I think I actually, and I told Evan this, I understood why he went with this one over the trade that I had offered him. I think it's a nice piece. Ryan Tannehill is not really a name that we associate with a good quarterback, but I think that he should be now. I think, efficiency-wise, scoring-wise, I think that he's a pretty good quarterback to be able to plug in there right now. I have him in another league, and I didn't want to trade him.
He's been solid. He just passed that full season stats as far as last year and this year, and he's right up there in the top, at the top. So he's been really solid. How about you, Sean? What do you think?
Well, I think when we see the name Ryan Tannehill, we think of Ryan Tannehill in Miami.
Yeah.
And I think all three of us and anybody that's ever watched football before can see the obvious difference between Miami and the Tennessee Titans. I mean, like, Ryan Tannehill is what? Top 10, top 11 fantasy quarterbacks? Like, he's almost to that point where you can set him in your lineup and not even worry about who you're playing, you know? I mean, the Bills were a pretty darn good defense until they went in there and destroyed them, you know? I think I like the trade for both sides. I think Ryan Tannehill's a really good start, though.
If I had to declare a winner, I'd give it to the underdogs because Curtis Samuel, from the first time that Steele tried to trade him to me, I don't know, he might have tried to trade him to you guys. I'm not sure.
I think I remember it coming up once or twice.
Yeah, once or twice he brought up Curtis Samuel. I told him right from the very first time that when Rule brought in Robbie Anderson, and then they were trying to trade Samuel, I was just kind of out on him. I love him as a player and athlete, but I think he needs a better situation to be more relevant. And J.J. Taylor, any guy that's shorter than me that's playing in the NFL, I don't know if I really want to go too much in on him. But that guy's a good athlete, and Belichick doesn't bring in just anybody. So maybe he'll find some relevance there. But he did get a second-round pick out of it, so that's not a bad piece to get there. So I'm not sure exactly what he was going for there. And I guess he's got Brady and Burrow on, and he's got Dalton now, so he could probably ride with Burrow and Brady. Maybe Dalton will come to some more relevance, but I'd kind of give the nod to the underdogs just for getting Tannehill there.
You think you can get a year one starting running back in the second round this year? Looking forward a little bit.
I don't know. I mean, it's
a
stretch
for a running back, right?
It happens, but I mean, it's a stretch. I mean, most of those guys are going to be first rounders, so
maybe he tries to move that second rounder with a piece and try to move up into the first round.
Yeah, I mean,
the underdogs got Antonio Gibson in the second round, and I've heard that he's pretty good.
Yeah, I heard that he was okay.
Yeah, they'll tell you that he's really good. All right, well, I'm going to move on to some matchups, but we have a little surprise message to read. Steele, Mr. Ian Steele, wanted me to share a message with Sean, so I'm going to read that live. So I'll do my best here to make it sound good. And
you're going to do a British accent? Because if you don't do a British accent, you're not doing any favors.
I can do it a little bit.
Oh, I can do a little. Let me hear the British accent.
So the day is finally here, Sean. Sounds more.
Oh man, that sounds more like.
Sounds more Australian.
Yeah.
Australian, yeah. There you go.
So the day is finally here, Sean. Judging by the scores you've been putting up so far this season, I'd be willing to bet you've been hoping the season got canceled before our Week 7 matchup. Sorry, mate, no reprieve for you. After this week, everyone is going to be calling you Monsieur because I'm going to beat you worse than the Germans beat the French whenever they venture west. I'd say I'd be gentle, but the truth is I want to beat you so bad you look like Dak's right foot. Oh, that's just me.
Oh, man, that's
Oh, no.
That's just me. That's just uncalled for.
That's rough.
Good luck. You're going to need it. P.S. You suck, wanker. You suck, wanker, if you didn't catch my bad accent there.
He called me a wanker.
He called you a wanker. 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 So what do you think, Sean? He's calling you out, buddy.
First, I got 2 points.
Again.
First of all,
Again with the 2 points.
2 points. I got. First one is my team last week is a completely different team than I had in week 5, just to say. Second point, we have the same freaking record. Same record. And I only got to beat you by 1 point. And you better hope I don't, because I'm going to wax that booty.
Better not put up 101 again. Couldn't say that for me. Dang it. I don't know if I'd have beat him last week anyway. Yeah, I could have gotten over 101. So, well, we got some time for a few matchups there, Sean. Timekeeper.
Let's do it. Go to the matchups.
All right. So we got number 1, Goofy Jace, going up against the Baba O'Reillys. So he gets everybody back. So Mike gets to play. Mike gets to play Goofy while he's missing Kamara and Wilson. This week, Mike's got Skippy Dogs, and Jackson's on by. And,
Looks like he's got Daniel Jones in there.
Thielen's on by, and Henry is going up against the Pittsburgh defense. My question to you, Mike, are you indeed one lucky bastard?
Yeah.
So I get Goofy when he's got Wilson back, and Keenan Allen. He was questionable, but yeah, Keenan was out last week, so he's got everybody back. I got Sanders out with the injury, probably looking like not a serious one, but probably 2 or 3 games. So yeah, I got some work to do, man.
I hear Boston Scott's on the trade block.
What's that?
I heard Boston Scott is on the trade block.
Boston Scott, yes.
Yeah. I heard
Next man up. Next man up. Well, we'll see. So the next matchup, number 2 is Tua Time. I'm gonna try to get him to change his name. I keep saying it, maybe he'll change it. Tua Time, Steele, going up against the Carsonist. Sean, what can you talked about it a little bit already. Any more words on that matchup?
Week 6, I put up 150 points with Josh Jacobs and Chris Carson sitting. All right.
Ooh.
Mind you, Justin Jefferson, my first round pick, rookie draft, LSU, go LSU. He got 35 points last week, and that was amazing. And he is out. But I feel like I can make up the difference with my 3 running back monster. So coming for you, Steely.
All right. Should be a good one. That's number 2 team against number 5. So those first 2 matchups has 1 and 4, and then 2 and 5. So could be some mixing it up there at the top of the standings. So should be good. All right. Our next matchup, we have the Lucky Bastards. Oh, wait, no, that's Frank's Beauties. Frank's Beauties. Going up against Skippy Dog. Like I said, Thielen on by, Jackson on by, Henry going against the Pittsburgh defense. What do you think about your chances there, Mike?
Well, I'm not going to jinx myself, but with all the buys, I feel okay. I'm hoping that Michael Thomas plays. Haven't heard. That'd be nice.
I bet he does. I bet he does.
It sounds like it should be okay, but
those high ankles are always hard to gauge. You know, CMC sitting there with the high ankle, and I just want him to arrest him until he's good to go. You know, none of this coming in, going back out. So you just hope for the same for Thomas.
I like that Zeke has the Washington football team this week. I'm hoping that he sort of takes some anger out on them this week. Yeah, I don't see that happening. He looked pretty mad last night.
Yeah, he's going to be a very tough person to beat.
You know what's funny about Zeke? It's always that he's looking up at. Did you catch that?
Yeah.
I can't see myself, but he's always like looking up at the scoreboard or something, man. It's really weird, but you never know what's going through his mind. He just always has that same dead look on his face. Well, that should be a good one. That's number 3 going against number 7, and we already said that Skippy with 2 wins looks like he's trying to make a little move up there. So we'll see what happens. Next, we've got Defenses Wins Championships, the number 6 team going up against the real Slim Brady, the number 9 team. I had a couple little notes on this. Running back just lost Mostert. We talked about that earlier, so he's out with a high ankle sprain. He's got Mark Andrews and Marquise Brown on bye, 2 guys that he might have been wanting to get in there. So he's got to make up a little bit there on his roster.
McKinnon could fill in nicely.
Who's that?
McKinnon.
Yeah, McKinnon, and he had Drake on the bench, and maybe Drake can build on that game and put 2 together and do a little something for him.
I'm nervous for him because the Bills play at the New York Jets, and the last time Aaron had a team play at MetLife, they all got hurt.
Oh, wow.
And he's got Josh Allen and Singletary playing in MetLife.
Oh, wow. No, I got Diggs playing in MetLife.
That's right. Was that when they were complaining about the turf and stuff there?
And then they sat somebody the next week because they played the Jets and then the Giants like back to back or something like that.
Right. Yeah, hopefully they got that under control. On Dylan's side, I imagine he'll get Burrow or Brady in there. I think both those guys have good matchups. Burrow's got Cleveland, I think, and can't remember who Brady has. I think maybe Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Huh? Raiders? Yeah. So he'll probably pivot off of Dalton, and hopefully Dalton goes off on his bench.
If I can just make a bold prediction that might go against my grain, you might want to start Joe Burrow because he's going to throw it 40 freaking times.
Yeah.
What do you want from a quarterback in fantasy?
He doesn't have much to lose at this point. I'd wheel him out there. Either way, Brady's probably he's not going to throw it as much. Ronald Jones running the ball well, so they won't rely on Brady's arm as much as Burrow's arm. So that might be a good prediction there. He'll have Henry back in at tight end. He had trying to remember. I think Zach Ertz he had in there, and he got hurt, and Ertz hadn't been doing much. So maybe Henry can reemerge here. I don't know. Have to see what he does there. So, all right, our last matchup, real quick. We got the Battle of the Bottom. And that would be the Silly Biscuits at number 10. Sorry?
Go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead. Silly Biscuits, the number 10 team going against the number 8 team, the Underdogs. We already talked about the Underdogs losing a few close ones, so maybe they can get back on the winner's side. What do you guys think about that one?
In this game, I feel worse about Hill. I mean, this guy's been getting demolished with – go look at his running backs on his bench. It's out, P, out, IR. Like, who is this guy going to put in here?
Yeah. I know.
Yeah, because Jonathan Taylor's on a bye this week.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I didn't write any notes down on this one, so didn't realize that. That's not good for Josh.
No, I don't know if he's gonna have to go pick up a running back that may play.
Yeah. Well, me and Evan both talked about playing in other leagues with him, and we never count him out. So we'll see what he comes up with here. Underdog's got a decent. They put together a decent roster, I think. What do you guys think about their roster? I think it's improved.
Mm-hmm. I think it's better than 1-5. Like we said, they've lost some close ones. They could be 3-3 just as easy.
Yeah.
I think Robinson and Mixon as a running back core, they're pretty good core to have. I mean, a lot of upside.
So that does it for the matchups.
Well, that I think is the time for our show. Come back next week where you find out that I beat Ian. Screw you, Steely. Oh yeah, Steely, you suck.